Hey guys, welcome to the Pyramyd Insider. I'm Tyler Patner. Today we're going to take a look at the Air Venturi 13 cubic inch bottle. Fills to 3,000 psi. It also comes in a nice little kit, so you have your adapter to adapt it onto a CO2 powered gun, and you also get your buttstock piece that goes right on the end to actually give you a little buttstock to rest against, so you're not just resting against the bottle. This product is unique because it has a regulated output. You have your regulator here, which regulates the output of this to about 1100 psi. Now, for those of you that don't know, CO2 usually operates at around 950 to 1000 psi. And that's in warm weather usually. In colder temps, it's going to be obviously a little bit lower, as CO2 is a very temperature-dependent gas. That said, the reason this is a very innovative and unique product is because it can turn many of your bulk fill CO2 guns that use these 88 gram cartridges into a high pressure gun. It's a lot more consistent, it's going to give you more shots, it's also not temperature sensitive. So if you want to use your CO2 guns in the winter, this is your option. So to test our 13 cubic inch Air Venturi bottle today, we have the Sig MCX here. Now, many of you will be familiar with this gun. It's very, very popular. Basically a direct replica of the real steel Sig MCX. Normally, this gun uses an 88 gram CO2 cartridge like this one here, or 90 gram in this case. Screws right into the back there. And it'll deliver about 200, maybe 250 shots depending on the temperature. But usually, again, the problem with CO2 is that you're going to start dropping off in velocity from the first shot. So to avoid that, going to this high pressure bottle is a much better option. It's going to be far more consistent from shot to shot. Now, to make this work in the Sig here, there's a little bit of a procedure that goes on here. So the first thing we're going to do is take our Air Venturi bulk fill adapter and screw it into the back of the Sig. And this is basically the same threading as a normal 88 gram CO2 cartridge. So once that's nice and tight, I like to take a little Allen key. It's got this convenient hole here, and just give it a little bit of a twist. Make sure it's nice and tight in there. That's very important to do, and make sure it's seated all the way. And then you're going to take your bottle and go ahead and screw that in. Now, there's not air in this yet. We'll fill it up for you guys here in a minute before we go out and shoot. But you're just going to go ahead and link the two up. Now, you see that everything's turning in unison, but now we're really nice and tight on there, and it's locked into place. And then we're just going to take our buttstock, go ahead and slide it on. That's a nice tight press fit there. And you can rotate it to whatever angle you like, and then you're good to go. So you are resting your cheek directly on the bottle here, but it's not too bad. It's a nice line of sight, very natural feeling. It does increase the length of pull just a bit, but overall not too bad, nice compact unit, and doesn't really give you too much more additional weight either. So one other thing I want to mention is actually taking the bottle off. Now, as many of you know with CO2, once you go ahead and unscrew it, there is no way to reseal it. So you lose whatever remaining pressure there is. With an 88 gram gun where you're getting a couple hundred shots, not everyone's shooting those couple hundred shots per fill. That is the great thing about this Air Venturi high pressure bottle here, is that you actually retain all of your air when you unscrew the bottle. To make sure you're doing that properly though, you grab your Allen key again and you place it back through that hole on your adapter. If you screw the adapter out and the bottle together, you will lose all the air. That's actually your piercing mechanism that activates the valve on the bottle. So we're just going to use the Allen key here to retain tension on the adapter and then twist our bottle right off the back end. And if there was air in this, you'd hear it degas a little bit. You'd hear the air in the regulator escape, and that would be all you'd lose. So whatever pressure's remaining, you'd be good to go with that. We'll get some 30 round mags loaded up for this bad boy. We'll go get this aired up. Let's go do some shooting. All right, so now that we got our bottle aired up to 3,000 psi, we'll go ahead and get her on the gun here. Now, we're gonna go ahead and shoot. We got about 4 mags loaded up here. Now, I'm expecting this to do like 250 shots. We're obviously not gonna show you guys every single shot of the string. That would be a little bit impractical. But what we are going to do is we'll take, every 3 mags or so, stop, take about 10 or 15 shots over the cranny, make sure she's maintaining stability, consistency, and then go ahead and find out, obviously, when this hits 1100, that's when we're gonna expect those shots to tail off. But we're gonna see just how consistent it is through a whole string. We'll shoot some targets, have a little bit of fun, but let's get into it and see what happens. So looking over our results here with the 13 cubic inch bottle, about 270 shots. That's quite a few shots. I can tell you with the CO2 in the same temperature environment, mind you, it's about 50 degrees out on our range, so a little bit cold. With the 88 gram CO2, we're only running about 200 shots. So this Air Venturi bottle is actually getting us far more shots, about 2 magazines worth. Out of the Sig here, and obviously it's going to vary from gun to gun to gun that you can adapt this to, but bear in mind, you know, that temperature fluctuation that you do have with CO2 is not going to be a problem with high pressure air, and that's a big plus here. And on the velocity side, we're looking very similar results, mid to low 400s out of both platforms with high pressure or CO2. Shot-to-shot consistency on the high pressure is not quite the same as the CO2, but it is very straight in terms of how it performs from that first magazine to your 5th magazine to your 7th magazine all the way through until you hit that 1100 point. So the HPA from an overall shot strength perspective is going to be more consistent. But I think this is a really good one for the guys out there that already have HPA setups, or if you're looking to run a gun like this in the winter. You know, obviously your CO2 guns are going to be problematic in the winter, especially if you want to use them outside. So this HPA setup is a very good alternative to that, and one, quite frankly, that's not going to cost you too much money. So give it a look on PyramydAir.com. For the Pyramyd Insider, I'm Tyler Patner. We'll see you guys at the next one.